We will start the questions, please.
Shan, so the main headline there is obviously Rizwan replaces Sarfaraz. Why did you reach that conclusion?
I think there's a lot of thinking behind it. Firstly, I'd like to go back to why we played Sarfaraz. I think we wanted to set a precedent where we wanted to reward people that have been playing red ball consistently in domestic cricket over the last few years. You saw that with the selection of Khurram Shahzad and Amir Jamal, even though I think a lot of people felt that it was quite risky putting two debutants out there. But I thought that they handled themselves well, and we have to give them credit that their first outing against Australia in Australia was quite decent. So the reason of playing Sarfaraz was pretty much the same. I know people go back to stats and Rizwan averages very well in Sana. Firstly, there's no competition between the two. They're equally important to the team. Whatever competition we feel there's healthy competition. We know what Rizwan has done, but we gave Sarfaraz the benefit because he averaged 56 and a half when he came to Australia in the last tour in 2016. Yes, that's been quite a while, but he's also played red ball consistently in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy for the last few years. Rizwan just came from the World Cup, a lot of white ball cricket, so we felt that he needed some more time, and he also had a gap in Test cricket where when Sarfaraz took over from him during the New Zealand series, Sarfaraz had an outstanding performance there, and Rizwan really hadn't played a lot of Test cricket or red ball cricket. Let's put it to red ball cricket because we don't really play enough Test cricket all over the year. So there was some method to it. So we thought that we would go with Saifi in terms of he's been there, he's played more red ball cricket. Karachi had a very good season where he scored a lot of runs. He was the MVP of the tournament. And that allowed us some time to get a player like Rizwan into shape. For me, if I had it my way or if we had it our way, we'd ideally like both to play, but that's not possible. But now we think that Rizwan is ready and we can give Saifi that little bit of break to sort of recoup, come back, and again, more of a tactical decision in terms of the conditions and what we can get best out of each player in those conditions.
So do you think now that after one test you have got this Rizwan?
Look, I wouldn't think that one change would have changed the whole course of the game. I think if we're being honest in terms of honestly assessing the game, I thought we lost the game in the first 2 days. They batted very well. They batted at 4.5 runs and over. And then when we batted around 2.6, 2.7. And they got the 10 wickets in that time, whereas we took a longer time and conceded a lot of runs to get those 10 wickets. So for us, it was the team as a whole. I don't think one person can sort of change the course of a match. For us, this decision is tactical, looking at the conditions, and obviously giving the best possible opportunity to any player that has played red ball consistently, and that's what we want to do going forwards, because I feel a lot of the times that we don't play enough test matches in 1 year, and we're playing 5 this year. We played how many? 6 this year, and we're scheduled to play what? 5? 5 this year. The Quaid-e-Azam Trophy is the only red ball tournament that sort of, yes, we've got the departmental cricket coming back again, but the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy has been the only other red ball cricket for most of the players. So we want players that play red ball consistently, and we also have to look at what's best tactically. So now we're making that tactical decision.
Over the past?
I think we wanted to break away a bit from the traditional sort of schedule that surrounds the Boxing Day Test match. I thought 5 sessions of practice would have been very monotonous. So the team management floated an idea that we'll play a 2-day practice game. We also had a squad of 18. Yes, it's been trimmed down. Unfortunately, that was the only downside of the match, that we've had a squad of 18, 19 including when Sajid joined the squad. That's been trimmed down quite a lot, significantly. So that didn't really give us that sort of way of testing each and every one of those players out in those two-day game. We had to restrict it to 13 and 14 places. But the whole method was that we'll go to the ground, we'll spend when you spend 8 to 10 hours at the ground, you get a bit of a feel that you would get in a test match. And just make the practice more intensive. Whereas if you're in the nets, there are no consequences. It can get very monotonous. So everything was a bit specific towards match preparation. We weren't looking at the conditions. It was more, how can we sync ourselves to play a test match again? Because an 8-day gap is quite a lot.
Why players announced instead of?
I think we'd like to have one final look at the pitch. Our last look at the pitch was on the 21st. Then we went at the Junction Oval, and we had a off day yesterday, and then it's been raining today. So I think we should be a bit sensible, make sure that we have a full look at the pitch, and let's say if we need to play a certain kind of bowler or batsman, then we would make that decision. That's why we announced the 12, so the players can also have some clarity. Test is always never a fair assessment. I think you need time. You need a bit more time because you've already got a squad that's been playing Test cricket for a while. You have to look at the domestic structure. You have to look at the players available for red ball cricket. A lot of things that you need before you can really force that way of playing. You need players to buy in. We want to give players ample opportunity to buy into the way we want to play, and there are some things that we've said from the outset that we'd like to play a more attractive brand of Test cricket. We did that in Sri Lanka. We got some results as well. So the challenge now is to do it against the best teams in world cricket. It was hard out there in Perth, but I still feel there were some positives that probably we didn't do back when we were here in 2019. So yes, again, we don't want to force people to play a certain way, but yes, we'd like to. We've outlined certain things that we want to do better. Like I said, when Australia scored, they scored at 4.5 runs and over. Even though we got the 10 wickets, but they set us back with that. And then when they bowled, they made sure that we didn't get over 3 runs and over. We were 2.6, 2.7. So those are the margins. That's where the test match was lost. Day 4, I thought we saw the pitch. That's where the toss came into play. That's where the cracks came into the play. But the match was well and decided in those 2 days. And if we want to compete against Australia here, we have to start off well. We have to get quickly out of the blocks, and we have to play a positive brand of cricket, which you have to give the guys some time. It can't just happen overnight. It has to be. You have to see how players play naturally. You have to convince them to buy into how you want them to play, and then give them a proper chance, and also try and set the tone yourself, which I thought that I had a decent start in Perth, but couldn't capitalize on it, got out at the wrong time. So these are the things that you want to do, but be patient with the players. Not just because one match hasn't gone our way, we shouldn't just be like, oh, this isn't working, or there's no Pakistan way, or anything like that. We should let our team have some time and then establish themselves.
And part of that buying,
I think what we talked about in the first press conference, we have to be adaptable to different situations. You also have to, I think, give a lot of credit to the openers when you concede 450 odd runs in the first innings, and you've got heavy legs and you've been out there for 110 overs. I thought they did the right thing over there, where they negated the new ball and got through some really good spells from top class bowlers. That's what you needed to do in that situation. When I went out, the ball was a bit older, run scoring was a bit easier. So you want to pick your moments, you want to pick your battles, and that's what I want the team to do. Be adaptable to different situations, but yes, be positive and not have a huge margin where the other team's scoring at 4.5 and we're letting them score at 4.5 as a bowling unit, and not picking up those wickets in an earlier phase rather than 110 overs. And the second thing is, as a batting unit, if we're batting 100 overs, we'd like to close that gap and score 350, 360, something like that. So again, it's about, from a personal point of view, it's something that I've enjoyed over the last few years. I think my red ball game in domestic cricket has significantly improved because I started to score at a high rate, but everyone has their own way. But we want the team goal to be there, and the team goal is, as a bowling unit, to take 20 wickets, and as a batting unit, that if we're only batting 100 overs in these conditions, we'd like to score at a high rate. Look, I think Firstly, it's never easy whenever you come back from a serious injury that we all saw at this ground almost more than a year back now. And sort of that was an aggravation of an injury that he got in Sri Lanka. So firstly, that takes immense sort of discipline, work ethic, and sort of willpower to get back into cricket, and also being a fast bowler. I've had the same injury. I was a batsman, so it's much easier for me. But when you're a fast bowler and you have to run through at 25 kilometers an hour, and then sort of the forces that go through when you bowl, that becomes really hard. Red ball cricket's even harder. Shaheen's been the lead of the pack for a while now, and he's put in some great performances for Pakistan, whether it be T20, ODI, or Test cricket. It happens with the best of players. You have to give him that margin. I thought he bowled really well in a lot of spells at Perth. There were a lot of plays and misses, and sometimes that's what you do as an opposition team, where you play off the best bowler and then start scoring. Yes, he was a bit expensive to start off with, but that's Shaheen. He was looking for wickets, and we don't want him to change all. I thought that in Perth, the way he bowled, especially in that second innings and a lot of the first innings, he could have gotten some luck his way. But you give him that time, you give him that space, and it's just about that one click. He's somebody that can turn a match around in an instant. And if he bowls well, I'm sure we'll be on the right side. So we're looking forward to seeing him play over here and really putting up a great performance for Pakistan.